Okay. It's 7:15. I'd like to call the Legislative Committee meeting to order. We'll start by calling a roll. Mr. Massey?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Tobin is out. Ms. Ray?
Here.
All right, we are in public session, and we are having our next installment of the Winter Street parking regulations. I see council's not here. Mayor, are you ready to present in some manner? No quiz?
I was
Jacob.
by that, Jacob, don't worry.
See you in 15
Don't let
minutes.
the door hit you on the way out, as they say.
Yeah.
Yes. You have a draft resolution in front of you. I did take the honor or privilege of sharing with Mr. Massey and I think Mr. Johnson today an article about this upcoming winter and
You
where they
did.
once again expect less snow than we've been getting. And we want to emphasize that we're going to, I know Alderman Witt has asked me this several times, how are we going to communicate this to the public? And we're going to communicate it in many, many ways, including direct mail. We're talking with the clerk about setting up a dedicated phone line for people who can call in for, on a daily basis, see what emergencies exist, not only this, but others, because one complaint we do get from people is they don't have access to a computer or a cell phone. So we're trying to become creative and also with our social media, our websites, and all of the different ways to communicate. And we're looking for ideas. And what we hope to do is do a ward-by-ward mailing, meaning that we'll have both aldermen, myself, and the council president with our numbers to our contact information, along with the points about the overnight parking on it, or one that people will hopefully will keep and retain, and then use it, if there's a snowstorm or potential snowstorm, where we'll have the emergency number along with the snow alert information, and also directions on how to sign up for the city emergency notification. What's it called, Rick? Civic Ready. And we're looking for ideas of way to communicate. And that part of that will be through your guys' social media, Kate, yours. But it's going to take a lot of communication with the people. But in it, we're also going to emphasize stop parking on your lawns. So that's basically it. So a lot of communities that are around the country are doing this, especially up in the snow areas. I think Chicago, Illinois is discussing doing it. And, we know they get a little bit of snow. Some cities upstate have already done it. Rockland County, Haverstraw just did it, I think, last year. And so it only makes sense for us because I've assured Jacob, I met with him and his foreman in charge of the snow removal, and according to Jacob, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
But we'll survive, and we're also going to. I think part of his argument is that some of the streets are narrow, and that allow parking on both sides. We see this now on Du Bois, Adams, and not Adams, Du Bois, Earl, and that section of the city. And he mentioned about Prospect, and so as we go through this, if we see that there are problems with getting the snow plows down the streets during the day. Then we'll have to consider removing, snow parking from one side of the street. But my argument back to him was that it does snow during the day too, and that's existing where the no parking was only from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
So if that's the case, if there are these emergencies, street conditions, we probably should be removing parking if plows and fire trucks can't make it down certain streets. So we're asking him for a report on that and what his thoughts are. But that's it in a nutshell. That's pretty basic stuff.
All right, I call to your attention, you have a correspondence from the clerk and one from chief. I'm going to go around the table, starting with Ms. Ray. We've been around this maypole numerous times. What you got?
I'm very excited that we have reached the action phase of this project of ours. Again, we don't like it, we can fix it. We're here twice a month. I'm all about it. Let's move forward.
Thank you. Alderman?
Good idea to move forward.
Mr. President? Mr. Massey?
I'm in favor of it. And look, at each one of our meetings coming up, and even tonight's meeting, we can keep bringing it up so that those people who are watching or who watch later on to sign up, and we'll push that too. But they'll know, and common sense. But
Well, could be an oxymoron, we'll see how it goes. Mr. Witt,
I think it's a great idea.
Mr. Green,
I'm all for it. I just want to ensure that when we do the mailings, it's not going to be like with the water bill. It would be to like the resident or like
It's
to
gonna be a
resident or, okay.
It's going to be a card, and it'll be to each address.
Okay.
Or each apartment.
Yeah, just because I know with some, a lot of rentals, sometimes it goes to so it will just be to
And
a
it won't be
resident.
to
or like a
registered
car.
voters, it'll be to the address.
Right. Perfect. All right, I'm all for it.
Mr. Kleiner?
My one question is, we discussed having some alternate parking spaces, some suggestions where when people do have to move their cars, where they can move them to. Have we looked at that any further in terms of public lots or suggestions?
Well, we do have public lots now.
Right.
And what we're looking at doing in some of the residential neighborhoods is taking some of the vacant properties and developing them into some type of public parking. That's not going to happen this year.
Okay.
But if you think about it, under the law now, they're still responsible for getting their car off the street now. So some people are, so this year, if it snows, there's going to be a little bit inconvenience. But long-term, we hope to develop in high-density neighborhoods where people have limited parking. We hope to develop some parking in those areas. I'll give you one example, is North Street, just past Prospect, where the old Newburgh Banana Place, pretty large lot for the city that we own it. There's a couple lots like that up on Linden Avenue, but that's going to take engineering, and it's going to take money to do. Because, if you build a parking lot, you have to make sure the drainage is correct and all those good things that go with it. But we do plan on doing that type of parking opportunities in a high-density area. And I think North and Linden is, of course, one of the highest density areas in the city.
Did you say banana?
Won't be done this year, though.
No,
Banana,
thank you.
banana parking lot?
Newburgh Banana,
Newburgh Banana?
that's what it was there. It's big, Massey probably remembers.
What's that?
Yeah, Massey.
Trying not to pay attention.
Yes, I know, you're doing a good job.
Mr. Mayor, I just had a question. So we have a resolution. Is it your anticipation we can move this out of committee by voting on this resolution?
It's my anticipation you can vote on it tonight if you wanted to.
In
You already
public?
had a public hearing.
Absolutely.
Okay,
If
but
you
that would
vote on
be
it
a-
on
that would
committee,
be
and you
a-
can vote on it
Yeah,
tonight on
it's-
From
council.
the floor.
I have it ready to go if you move it out of committee this evening.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion to the committee that we accept the resolution as presented. I need a second. Mr.
Second.
Massey, Ms. Ray, everybody seconds. Third, fourth,
Yeah,
and
it's
fifth.
unanimous.
All in favor? Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries. It is now moved out of the committee. Hearing no other business before the committee, I make a motion to adjourn. Mr. Massey seconds. There is no discussion.
We bring Mr. Twill back in the room now?
You're all in favor, none opposed.